Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. It's an engaging and enlightening talk show on life, relationships, and the business of life. Grab a cup of juice and just chill. Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. Live life. Live fully.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode. We really appreciate you joining us. This podcast really shows us how we can all learn, live, and thrive off of each other. By sharing our knowledge through our conversations, we will impart some knowledge whilst learning ourselves how to progress even further. Here is your host.
This is your host, Omobola Stephen, or Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. Now, remember, Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen is a self-improvement and personal development podcast that are occasions expert and professionals who have the right information to share with the audience on any disruptive insight on topics on the personal development and self-improvement. Now, I need to let you know that self-improvement and personal development is a lifelong process, and it's something that we need to embrace in order to move from where we are to where we need to be. On today's show, I have Sunitha Sandeep, who is the transformational coach for women professional executives. Hi, Sunitha. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Omobola. So beautiful. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure for me and also a privilege for me to be here talking to you today.
All right. It's a pleasure having you once again, Sunitha Sandeep. Now we'll be focusing on your area of expertise, talking about, focusing on a woman, right? How we can get it right, how we can find our passion in this modern age that we have. Now, the first question I would like to ask you, because I understand your area of expertise, one of your core area of expertise is on helping your clients shift from masculine to feminine energies while they tap into their peak potential. Now, that's such an incredible niche you've got here. Can you tell us more?
Yeah, so the kind of clientele that I work with, the women are mostly professionals who are usually 40 plus professionals, executives, leaders that have achieved what they wanted to achieve in their life. And they probably had desired this when they were 20 years old. So now at 40, they kind of completed whatever they thought they had to desire and whatever life was to be. And they thought that's the end and they're going to live a happy life forever, right? But then what happens is unless and until we change and be very flexible with respect to what we feel success is and keep changing that every year, every 5 months, or every 1 year, every 10 years, every 5 years, if we hold on to what we thought, that can cause a big suffering. And this is what we see in all of the pretty high achieving women, high achieving professionals, or even whatever they thought they wanted to accomplish in their life. And moving from this stage of human evolution to the next stage, wherein we tap into the potential that we have within, we need to start letting go of the constant doing that we do. One after the other, this after the other, this. There's so many achievements that we kind of, and then we create this whole to-do list, and then social media is not helping either. We just go there, oh, that person is doing like 10 things and I'm only doing like 2 things. So then mentally I have already developed a do-it-all kind of an avatar, women avatar. And then, but this is what I'm doing. And so there is always a gap between what I do to what I think that life needs to be, right? And then this constantly creates a lot of suffering that causes a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, burnout, because there is no way we can ever, and there's also shame and guilt for women thinking that we are not doing enough. And that becomes a constant struggle in itself. And then these women are not like, oh, they've not done anything in their life. They have accomplished a lot in their life. So it's kind of a dark side that we reach wherein it feels like everything is success on paper. But internally, when somebody looks at their marriage, their relationships that they have, the kind of life they're leading internally, the passion that they have, and like snubbing all of their desires, when they see that, they'll know that it was a big failure. And then they begin to question, oh my God, what am I doing? Where is life heading me? Like, is this life all about? And that's a very incomplete feeling stuck that we go through. And and until then, it was all the masculine energy. For me, when I say masculine energy, it's all about like the doing. I need to do this, 10 things to do, and then go grab and get it done and do it. And so, which is all good, to have. But I think at certain point to reach our next level growth, we need to start tapping in slowly into our innate intuition, into our innate intelligence. There's something within all of us that guides, not like it won't tell us what it's going to be for like 10 years from now or 5 years from now. All it does is that it just guides you in this moment, in this moment, in this moment, in this moment. Moment by moment, the guidance is given. That's not as shiny and flashy of hitting your next milestone, hitting your next goal and achieving that and your promotion or so. But then that is where our peak potential is. So for this is how I explain to women when they say, hey, how do I not do anything? Like, how can I just stay and then feel that everything is going to go in a flow? So the metaphor that I give them is, if you take a mud, a cup of water, and take this mud and put that into the water, how are you going to clean the water? How can you see the clarity in the water? And then people will be like, oh, I'm going to go heat it up and I'm going to do this and I'm going to pour it also. But then sometimes if you just let it be for some time, the mud just settles down and there is clarity that we obtain. And it's not an easy thing to do because somebody is always in the mode of doing, and it's slowly shifting them from a doing by asking a lot of questions as to why they do what they do and where is the desire coming from, what is it that they want to accomplish, and then taking it very slowly to be in a state of being for them, and which goes through, of course, a lot of self-acceptance, a lot of compassion for themselves, a lot of surrendering to the present moment. And then that is when you slowly start tapping into your potential, which is very much in alignment with who you are. And from then on, life begins to change.
Definitely. That's some tough work to do, Sunita, but I can tell you it is worth the effort. Now we talk about, we're still talking about women here. Now I talk about women who are over 40 with age-defined careers. Now, how do they find their passion in all of these? I get to know, I'm quite sure that you find your passion, and that is what you're living up to right now. So can you tell my audience, how this set of women, how can they find their passion, especially in these trying times and where you have to juggle with so many conflicting priorities, and then you tell yourself, where can I really get my own passion and follow through?
Yeah, that's probably a lot of my clients that I work with, and I think there's somehow, and my teachings and my coaching is slightly off the mainstream. In fact, when somebody comes to me and then asks me, how can I find my passion? The first question I'm going to ask them is, why do you need passion? Why? Right? And it's like, why? Because they think that passion is going to give them happiness. Passion is going to make them alive, feel alive. Passion is going to bring that something, the spark within them that they feel has been lost for years. And then they associate that to passion. But then passion is just one of the expression of something deeper that we are talking about. So why do you even need a passion? And if you dig a little bit deeper into why somebody wants passion, ultimately it comes down to, I want to feel good. And why do you want to feel good? Because I want to feel loved. I want to be connected to people. I want to be connected to what I'm doing. I want my body to feel a little bit more relaxed. I want to feel worthful, that I'm actually giving something back to the world. So all of these, which means that there is a fear of being worthless, that there's a fear of not being connected, there's a fear of being lonely in life, and there's a fear of being unloved in life. So for me, instead of saying that, okay, how do I do these 10 things to go find your passion? That's a very masculine way of looking at things. And then the feminine way of looking at things is, passion is something that can flow into anything and everything that you do. You can somehow fake the passion by doing things that you really want to do, and then you can get the passion to start awakening and then getting it out. Or you can truly go a little bit deeper into yourself and see the source of what passion is all about. What does passion feel like for anybody? What does it feel like? And why can't we have passion in everything that we do? Why do we only associate passion to certain activities? See, now the whole shift, there's a whole big shift now. You don't have to look for certain activities to get your passion. You become the passion. You embody the energy of passion. And now when you go with that passion to anywhere, whether at your work, whether as a mother, whether as a wife, whether as a corporate professional, whether as a business entrepreneur, it doesn't matter, because what you embody is passion. And that is the shift from masculine energy to a feminine potential. So my way of taking them is slightly different. And then how do we go there? Is by clearing off all of the things that is holding on to us. That this is what I need to do. This is what I don't want to do. This is how it has to be. This is not how it has to be. So there's a lot of resistance to what is happening, or there's a kind of holding that we always hold on to. No, this is exactly how I want it. So it's like a fear of losing something we have, and fear of facing something that we don't want to, right? And then once you kind of understand yourself where you are, and then slowly kind of let go, and both from a mind, emotional, and from your somatic body perspective, when you learn to relax, that's when the energy of passion naturally starts flowing. Because have you felt, Omobola, there are some certain times that you just feel good and you don't know the reason why. It just feels good. Yeah, and it was not that any particular activity you were doing or anything like that. It just feels like everything is fine. And then sometimes you might be doing the best thing that you always wanted to do, and you just don't feel connected. So the source is completely different. So instead of going through the surface level and then trying to tap into our source, why not we directly take our attention to the source? And from there, whatever comes out of that is an expression of the passion itself.
Right. Now, Sunitha, still talking about passion. Now, you emphasize 5 P's when you're working with your clients. Now, talking about profession, parenting, purpose, passion, and partner. Now, what's your definition of personal fulfillment? And how can we get women to be unstuck, to be fulfilled, and have it all rippled in all of these 5 P's?
Yeah. So I take them through a journey of inner transformation. Complete inside out transformation. So nothing in the external world needs to change. And everything in the internal world will change. And it just feels like nothing has changed, but everything is different. That's the place I usually take them. So it's a combination of both spiritual ancient wisdom, which is what I call of a spiritual way of understanding who we are at the core level of our consciousness. And on the other end, it's more about healing ourselves, like, the body conditioning that we have, that we are holding on to, any of the previously held trauma that we are holding on to. These are the ones that are actually causing us to be away from our profession, as a partner, as a parent, as a passion, and as a purpose. And once you clear these outer surfaces slowly, understanding your blocks, understanding why you're suffering, understanding why are you running away from where you are? Why do you need to run away from where you are? Because there's a lot of fear that we are holding on to. And you go down to the level of fear and then start disseminating, start melting away those fears. Life just becomes a little bit of a relief for you automatically. And from the relief comes a presence. That you're actually present no matter what you do, you're present. And that literally becomes your energy provider. Instead, before, we had to have a goal, we have to have a milestone to go chase, and then that would somehow provide us energy. But then you start transferring from a place of motivation to a place of inspiration. And a lot has to do with clearing our fears, Omobola. I think this is what I see that literally worked for me, that literally worked for a lot of my clients, because any of the other activities that we do, and I talk about going beyond self-development after some time, like that, there's a time when we even need to go beyond self-development, because otherwise it just becomes this constant vicious cycle of like the hamster wheel chasing, okay, one self-development after another, one after the other, and it keeps going. And at some point it's like we go beyond that self-development and just look at ourselves, self-introspect ourselves. Why are we the way we are? Simple question. Why do I want what I want? Why can't I get what I want? And what am I afraid to feel? Because behind every desire or everything, if it's not coming from a place of pureness, it's because we are afraid to face something. It's a fear that is driving us. Oh, what are other people gonna say? I need to do this. Oh, I need to do this. I need to get my promotion because I think that's the way to go. But why? Why? And then the questioning. So I teach a method called as the inquiry-based modality. So there's a lot of going within and asking these questions deeply. And then we'll be shocked by the answers we get. It's a very difficult place to understand ourselves, because there's a lot of hidden traumas that are out there. There's a lot of childhood related memories and events that we have going on. I fear. But do we have the courage to look at ourselves and then sit with those fears, understand them, accept them, embrace them? Because that's literally 70-80% of the work, if we can do that. And then the question of passion, purpose, all of that naturally flows. We don't have to go look for something. In fact, I was just writing a blog post on this just before this podcast. That why we don't need to be chasing our, because every human being is already purposeful. Every woman is already passionate. Every woman is creative.
Absolutely. Thank you once again for that insight, Sunitha. Now, talking about our upbringing, talking about the traumas we've had, in our childhood, which has become a kind of mindset that has ended in some way or the others. Now, that's why we find ourselves here. Most of us stuck and just frustrated about life. Now, how can we go beyond our mindset to reach our full potential in life? Any strategy or tips that can help?
Yeah. So I also teach a process called as the somatic healing, which is going beyond the mindset. For me, mindset was of course, you start with the mindset, and it's an amazing practice, because what mindset does is it shifts you from looking at one perspective that way to look at things in a different perspective. Oh, there are like multiple perspectives to look at, and then let me choose which perspective will be good for me, and then go with it. So that's the mindset. To go a little bit beyond mindset is a little bit more on the somatic healing practices, because a lot of these trauma, a lot of the conditioning that we go through is hidden in our bodies. So usually when you find somebody talking like, I know I need to do that, and I completely understand that I need to do it. However, something feels stuck. I just can't take that action from my body and then do it. I need to go to the gym. I know I need to do it, but something just holds me back. I need to start that business, but then something holds me back. So all of these blocks, these things that are holding you, is more sitting in our body. And a kind of somatic healing needs to happen. The body needs to start feeling safe. Our nervous system needs to start feeling safe so that it can relax. Because there's a deep intelligence hidden in our body. We call it intuitive knowing. As a mother, you probably know that there's some kind of an intuitive knowing that you already know beyond what anybody is going to say about your kids, right? So there is some kind of an intuitive knowledge that is sitting in our body that probably needs to be tapped in. And then how do you tap those intuitive knowledge is by a lot of somatic healing, wherein your body feels a little bit safe to relax, and our nervous system starts feeling a little bit safe to relax. So all of the teaching that I do, Omobola, is all about letting the innate intelligence naturally come to the surface, and what is blocking is what we're going to be removing, so that the natural intelligence automatically flows. And we have all had experiences of this. We were in flow some days. Oh, things just happen. Oh my God, I was not even thinking about it, and I got this beautiful idea. Because it's all within, it's going to come. But then, just because we are occupied in so much thinking, in so much holding on to certain things, we just miss it. That's all it is. And the more and more you clear these things, there will be opportunity for our mind and body and our hearts to listen to whatever shows up. And that is our peak potential.
Thank you.
And just tapping into that, being available.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your incredible insight. Now, we talk about self-help, which is a kind of normal in our society today. Everybody's gunning for self-help. Now, I'd like to ask you this question. Why do some methodologies in self-help, why don't they work, right? Is that something that we need to be doing differently, or what's wrong in this regard?
Yeah, so again, self-help definitely is amazing, depending on your stage of consciousness. For somebody who is at the age of 40 or 45, again, it depends what exactly self-help means. If the source of self-help is thinking that there's something wrong with me and I need to fix, it's never going to work. And if self-help is something like, oh, there's a desire for me naturally to go and learn dancing. You see, like, and then what are the things that I need to do to learn dancing? What is blocking me? Oh, I need to change maybe my mindset. I need to do certain these kind of practices, or I need to do some meditation practices. I need to do some self-care practices. Why? Because I need to do something different. And I just need to feel kind of like, I want that liveness back, and I just want to feel that way for no reason at all. Then the self-help is going to work. But the self-help is coming from, I need to improve. This sucks, the way that my life sucks, or I need to fix myself. I'm not good. I'm not enough. Because then what happens is just a continuous spree that goes on and on and on. Because if the base is that you need to fix yourself, of course, humans will never be perfect. We will always have to keep fixing ourselves. So that's where the self-help will fall short. And then going to the next level, which is, okay, what does it mean for me to just accept the way I am? What happens? Can I just sit with myself the way I am and not do anything? And it doesn't mean you don't do anything externally. It's more internally, because if you see, a lot of conflict happens internally. And when the situation comes that when we really have to do something, we can do it very well. But then there's so much conflict that is going on internally that stops us from taking the external step. So let's say I'm okay the way I am internally. And then see what shows up. Can I accept myself the way I am? Because if we learn the true acceptance, we don't need anything. We don't need any self-help. We don't need any self-development. Because acceptance comes from a very deeper place. Compassion comes from a very deeper place. And I think that's where probably people are just getting stuck in this infinite cycle of self-development, self-help, self-worth, self-growth, and so on and so on and so on. And then it just becomes another way to keep themselves busy over and over and over again, rather than just looking at their life the way it is and then saying, can I just be present the way I am? And then heal whatever shows up during that moment, using your life as a guidance to help yourself, to heal yourself, and then see if that works. And I think that's where the shift has to, that's the big shift that I talk about, going from a masculine place to a feminine place. Because when we think about feminine energy is very tender, which is very open, which is very willing, which is very vulnerable, which is very accepting, which is very compassionate, which is very creative. And if we can start feeling those or embodying those as values within us, we can accept all parts of ourselves, the good parts, the bad parts. And once the integration happens, is when we feel really courageous and powerful. And we can tackle the next steps of our life.
Right. Now, Sunitha, quickly, I would like you to share with my audience 5 important steps or 5 important goals that a woman should set for themselves.
Yeah, since everything for me is the inner world transformation, first is awareness. Awareness more on who you are, what drives you, what's your trigger, and what drives you, what fears are driving you, and just understanding more on a self-reflection basis. And I think that's the number 1 step. Again, this is not a goal for me in the external world, but this is all a goal that can go deeper and deeper into your internal world. And then the next goal is trying to understand, go within and understand why you are the way you are. Because every action that we do today is because of a conditioning that happened some time ago. The way we think and the way we assume and our belief systems is based on something that would have happened. Our anger, our frustration, our emotions, again, relates to something that happened during our childhood days or some events that have happened, and that's still controlling us. So just going within and understanding that at a deeper level, and then kind of releasing that. It's called as a somatic healing practice. Then the third step is start tapping into true acceptance, compassion, and surrender. It's like an action that you can take in your day-to-day life. Acceptance of who you are, compassion towards yourself and others too, as to why they are the way they are. Because once you start understanding who you are, like why you are the way you are, you'll probably understand why everybody else are the way they are. And then the fourth step is to kindle your true values, like asking questions like, why do I want what I want? What am I afraid to feel? Why can't I get what I want? Like, these kind of inquiry-based questions will literally open up the innate desire for you. And then learning to finally consciously engage in your life as a conscious parent, as a conscious professional, as a conscious entrepreneur, conscious wife, whatever, whichever that you want to do. So the change will happen from inside, and this is the feminine potential. And once that happens from inside, literally it just feels like magical on the outside world. It's like you don't know why things are working the way they're working, but it just feels synchronous. You just feel, oh, things just happen at the right moment. I meet the right people at the right moment, because something within is now driving you, not your fears. And I think that's the change. Probably the 5 steps that I have told is probably will help.
Sunitha, I'm sure that you have exciting information you'd like to share with my audience now. You can quickly share them.
Yeah, all of the information that I have is on my website, www.sunithasandeep.com. I have a free ebook that you can just download from my website. I also have a 1-hour masterclass. It's a free masterclass that I have that people can just go and just take that class. And a lot of people have had shifts just by listening to that masterclass. It talks about the 5 different shifts that we need to have. There are a lot of, and then if you feel connected to what I do, you can always book a call with me. I have a free 1-hour session that we can just explore what do you want to do next in your life.
Absolutely. Thank you once again for that. Do you have any parting word you like to share?
No, I think we covered everything. Thank you so much, Omobola, for what you're doing. This is a beautiful podcast, and I really enjoyed talking to you.
It's my pleasure once again having you, and I'm humbled by your word, Sunitha. I wish you best of luck in all the projects that you embark upon.
Thank you so much.
All right. Now, if you'd like to catch up with any missed episodes of the show, you can do so on any cross-promotion platforms or any podcast distribution platforms you bump into online, and do have a great time listening to the show. Or you asking yourself, you have disruptive mindset conversations on any topics on the personal development and self-improvement. Remember, like I shared earlier, personal development and self-improvement is a lifelong process that we need to constantly embrace in order to become the better version of ourselves. Now, I'll be looking forward to having you as a guest on the show. Share this insight to my audience. You can send a mail to me at omobolastephen@outlook.com. Perhaps to get to know what I do and what I've been up to on my website, www.omobolastephen.com. Now, I need you to stay safe. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.